Hi guys, welcome to lesson 5.4, point slope form. Our objective for today is that I can write and graph linear equations using point slope form. And what is point slope form, you ask? Well, it is an equation of a non-vertical line with a slope m that passes through the point x sub 1, y sub 1. The way we write it is y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. All right. And you can use the slope of a line at any point on the line to write and graph an equation of the line. Any two equations for the same line are equivalent. So, problem number one, we're going to write an equation in point slope form. So our line is passing through the point 8, negative 4, and has a slope of 2/3. So, we have our generic form, y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. Now this is a formula that you are going to have to memorize because it's going to be really useful for you. So we're going to plug in the pieces of information we know. We have y minus negative 4 is equal to m, my slope, 2/3 times x minus my x coordinate, which is 8. And now we just need to simplify. We've got y plus 4 is equal to 2/3 times x minus 8. And that is an equation in point slope form for the line that passes through 8, negative 4 with a slope of 2/3. And if all I ask you to do is write an equation for it and I don't specify what form I want it in, this would be a really good choice to make. All right, letter B, write an equation for the line passing through the points 1, negative 4 with a slope of 3. So we have y minus negative 4 is equal to my slope 3 times x minus 1. Now we just need to simplify. Y plus 4 is equal to 3 times x minus 1. All right. Want you guys to try letters A and B on your own. Letter A, we have a point 3,5 and a slope of negative 2. So y minus 5 is equal to the slope, negative 2, times x minus 3. You can just leave it there. We don't have to simplify any negative signs. Letter B, we have the point going through 5, negative 3 with a slope of negative 3/5. Y minus negative 3 is equal to negative 3/5 times x minus 5. We need to simplify this double negative that kind of looks like an equal sign. So we have y plus 3 is equal to negative 3/5 x minus 5. So as you can see, writing an equation in point slope form is much easier than, if you'll remember in our last lesson, when we had to use slope intercept to figure out what our y-intercept was and then substitute it into the equation. We could just take that one point that we have and that slope we have and plug them in. Okay. Problem number 2, graphing using point slope form. So for these problems, what you can do is we can take the information from the equation and use it to graph our line. So the first thing, our slope is equal to negative 4/5. And right up here at the top, I'm going to write in our generic form. Y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. So my coordinates, I have a point at, well, let's see, x minus x1. So this is a positive 4. So we have 4, comma. Well, this is supposed to be y minus y1, so it would have to be y minus negative 7 in order for us to get this plus 7. So we have a point at 4, negative 7. So we're going to go over 4, down 7. And our slope is negative 4/5. Now, if you'll notice, we can't go down 4 and to the right 5. So we could go down 1, 2, 3. We're off the grid. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'd be like right around there. But we can work backwards up the line by going up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and to the left 5, which would put us right there. Could do that again, up 1, 2, 3, 4, to the left 5, puts us right there. We can use our straight edge then. Hey, look, I actually have a ruler this time. And we can draw in our line. Okay, remember our line should go to the edges of the grid, and it should be drawn using a straight edge. All right. Problem B, find our slope. Our slope is 3, and our coordinates we've got, instead of being, it's supposed to be x minus x1, so this must be a negative 3, y minus y1, so that's a positive 4. So we have a point at negative 3, positive 4, so right there. And our slope is a positive 3. So we go up 1, 2, 3 to the right 1, up 1, 2, 3 to the right 1. So now we've got 3 points, and we can use that to draw in our line. All right, arrows on the end, and it's to the edges of our grid. All right, I want you guys to try letters A and B on your own. All right, so letter A, my slope is equal to 3/4. And my y-intercept, well, they're both being added, so we know these are both negative numbers. So we have negative 8, negative 2. So we have a point at negative 8, so we go to the left 8 and down 2. Our slope is 3/4, so we're going up 1, 2, 3 over 1, 2, 3, 4. Up 3 over 4. 3 points, we can make our line. So use your ruler or any other straight edge will work. In the last video I used a pencil because that was what was sitting at my table. All right. Letter B, we need to go ahead and find our slope, which is negative 2. Our y-intercept, not our y-intercept, our point is going to be at a positive 2 and a negative 3, because that's being added. So we have plus 2 minus 3. So there's our first point. And our slope is negative 2, so we're going down 2 to the right 1, down 2 to the right 1, down 2 to the right 1, and we just need to connect our dots. All right, make sure your graph goes to the edge of the grid, and you're good. Okay. All right, moving on to problem number 3. Using 2 points to write an equation. So for this one, we need to figure out what our slope is first, and I gave you a graph, so we can just do our hop method, our counting hops. So we're going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we're going to the right, 1, 2, 3. So we have an equation, y minus, we can pick either one of our coordinates, so why not pick the one with the 2 positives? Y minus 4 is equal to my slope, 7/3 times the quantity, x minus x sub 1, which is 1. Okay. And we didn't say what form to write it in, so we're good to go there. I want you guys to try letter B on your own. All right, So to go from negative 2, 1 to 4, 4, I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, and we're going to go to the right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Up 3 over 6. When you reduce that, it's 1/2. So we've got y, and might as well pick the two positives. Y minus 4 is equal to our slope, 1/2, times the quantity, x minus our x coordinate, which is 4. Now, if you chose to use the negative 2, 1, you would get an equation that is equivalent, and we'll talk about how we can change that a little bit later on. But you will get an equivalent. Trust us on this, it will be an equivalent. So we could write y minus 1 is equal to 1/2 times x minus a negative 2 would be plus 2. All right, so there are two forms, and when we were to work on those, we would find they would equal the same thing. All right, problem number 4, using a table to write an equation. The table shows the number of gallons Y in a water tank after X hours. What is the equation in point-slope form that models the data? And what does the slope represent? Well, let's figure out what we are going up by every time. So we're going up 1250. We're going up 2500. And we're going up 3750. Well, that is concerning. Up by 1. Up by 2, up by 3. Okay, that's less concerning. So we're increasing, even though these are not the same ratios, this is our slope, and they're all going to reduce to 1,250 over 1. So 2,500 over 2 is 1,250. 3,750 over 3 is 1,250. So our equation is going to be y minus, well, let's just pick our first value, 3320, is equal to 1,250 times x minus 2. What does the slope mean? What does it represent? Well, it's 1,250 gallons per hour added, because we're increasing, to the tank. And if you've ever been to the city of Chicago, you may see these water towers on the top of the buildings. If you've also been in New York City, they have them there as well. And this is an old school way of doing fire prevention. So they would have sprinklers in the buildings that are fed by this pipe coming down from this water tank, and this tank would be filled with water. And if there was a fire, they would be using gravity to bring the water into the sprinklers and put the fire out, hopefully. So it requires no electricity. All it needs is gravity. So, interesting fact. All right. Letter A, you guys try this one, and then we will go over it. All right, so for this one, we are increasing by 80 each and every time. And we are increasing by 5 hours. So we're going to write our equation. And it says, what is the equation in slope-intercept form? Ooh, I'm being mean. So we're going to start y minus 130 is equal to 16. 80 divided by 5 is 16. Times x minus 5. And I want to know slope-intercept form, so we need to distribute. So we got y minus 130 is equal to 16x minus 80. Add 130 to both sides. Y is equal to 16x plus 50. Now I'm in slope-intercept form. So now I just got to figure it out. We said, what do the slope and y-intercept represent? Slope is $16 per hour. So he's making $16 per hour. And our y-intercept is going to be this plus 50. So we could say a fixed amount he will be paid. So this could be like some kind of salary. All right, so he gets paid a fixed amount per week no matter what, and then he gets more based on the amount of work that he does that week, how many hours he works. Okay, so make sure you fill out the bottom of the page, your level of understanding, and you fill in your summary of the lesson for today. If you had any questions, please write those down so we can get those answered in class. All right, we will see you all tomorrow.